Were you, or were you not, on a gay cruise?
No, you're 120% dick pic.
Everybody that age, they're sperminator.
Yeah.
We don't care about anything else. We're a walking hard on looking for a hole.
That's. I have to say you're right on that one. Oh, my God.
A stiff breeze comes through the room and you return the favor.
Gonorrhea. Oh. Somewhere on the outside of this building, there is a hole where squirrels come in.
Better than a hole where dicks come in.
Yeah, better than that.
Going down the stairs to wash the laundry. What the hell? Shh. Pizza. Stop it now. I order you to stop. I'm still touching myself.
Yeah!
All young bitches want to do is pop pills, smoke weed, get drunk, lay around, suck dick, eat hot Cheetos, charge they phone, get a sew and weave, twerk, be bisexual, eat McDonald's, wash they pussy in the sink, lie, take selfies, and talk shit through Wi-Fi because they phone never on.
I think washing they pussy in the sink is my favorite part. The Vietnamese trade in dongs. Figuratively and literally, I'm sure.
Oh, my God, that's hilarious.
I did decide to look it up. 500,000 dongs is a good night for Pop's ex.
Like most women, he's an emotional thinker.
Good God.
I mean, that's part of the problem we're having now in our society is we have a bunch of emotional thinkers that want the world to, to fall in line with their emotions. That's not... look, reality doesn't give a shit about emotions.
It's my lived truth. Fuck your lived truth.
No, it's not. It's your perspective.
Kiss my ass.
Literally like, hey, Sergeant Pop, you got to turn your bear suit. I'm like, over my dead body. No. Just give me a statement of charges. Yeah. You're never getting this back. Yeah. You can suck it.
I'm going to wear this with my Russian coat.
you will bury me in this. Hey! Why you gotta fucking be like that, man?
Because I'm an asshole, and I learned from the best. I'm sitting across from him, and I'm pointing at you with all four fingers.
All right, first of all, the Russian jacket is World War II surplus.
I'll send you a picture of it, Sarge.
Yeah. Okay.
I got you standing wearing it with holding two giant buckets like you just collected all the chum from behind the dump dumpster at the bar, and you're going to go home and make ice cream out of it. What's going on, you dandelion dingleberry destination doofuses?
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, all that works together. Welcome to Grunt Speak.
Live from the lair.
Bleep, glop, and floop-de-doo in the house. Digital Dave is on the way.
Yeah, he might be a little late.
Yeah.
In fact, he will be late because we already started the stream.
Yeah, a little bit. So
it's not his fault, though.
It's just a blank wall. It is what it is. Oh, man. It's been a day. That's why I brought this. And you have a gigantic Heineken over there. So.
The green grenade.
And it's fitting. It's fitting to start with a beer simply because even though this person has already been issued a number, we never got their full story.
What number was it?
515.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, probably last year.
Yeah.
He says, "Hello, gentlemen and leg humpers." I resemble that remark. "Please don't use my name whilst reading this on the show. I'm not, if you happen to so. My story isn't new. I'm sure it's very familiar, but here it goes. To give context on myself, I was in speech therapy from a young age and didn't actually start speaking intelligibly until I was 5, and I went to speech therapy for a few years after that. Figure I'm probably on the spectrum as well, but I don't have an official diagnosis. So I had even more of a handicap than regular guys when it came to parsing through the BS and lies of just be yourself. Girls like nice guys.
No, yeah, that's what my mom told me.
It'll be different. She loves you. Didn't start dating till high school and was still pretty awkward. Well, to be fair, I think we all were.
All right, hang on. All right. Why are you saying I didn't start dating until high school? It's not an Abby normal thing.
It is not an Abby normal thing, no.
The way he mentioned it, like, well, I didn't really start dating. What are you supposed to do? Like slinging seed in the 3rd grade? I mean, get the fuck out of here.
Hey, nowadays, that's every Democrat's dream.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, shit. I can't go a day or two without getting some news notification on my dumb phone about another teacher pulling a wango tango and either skating on it completely, or at the very least, there's linguistic propaganda just in the notification.
Yeah, they're catching these female teachers left and right, man.
Yeah, it's never rapé. It's always, well, it's a sex act.
No, it's not
an
rap.
inappropriate relationship.
No, it's not rapé. It's lick-a.
It's not rapé. It's DiGiorno. Or DeHorno, if you prefer.
DeHorno.
It's not rapé. It's DeHorno.
Yeah, and like there was a couple stories that this was it like last week. This woman was messing around with an 11-year-old child.
Gosh, I don't,
dude. That's fucked up.
Why?
I don't know.
Are these the ladies who just all of a sudden they hit a certain age and they realize that all the attention they get from dudes sliding into their DMs is merely sexual, and all of a sudden they realize, oh shit. And guys like you and I are reaching dudes younger and younger now. So they got to go even younger than that.
Oh my God.
To try to get their snot internally massaged.
Internal snot massage.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's just so freaking disgusting. And feminists will insist that men have the corner market on the rapé and the diddling and all that stuff. I'm sorry. It's looking more equal than you want to admit.
Well, let's just say that men and women are equally just as fucking evil.
Yeah, we're equally nefarious, but we do not get punished equally.
No, we do.
We are not held to the same accountability standards whatsoever.
No. In fact, we were just I was just talking about this with an individual who makes red pill content, and I explained to her that people go to prison, big boy prison, like pound you in the ass prison, for felony child support. And some of these guys are in there for kids that aren't even theirs. Oh, look, Dave just got here.
He's in.
All right, walk through the camera. Make sure it doesn't track you. Okay.
Make sure you switch to USB card reader, because right now I'm looking at your whack-a-mole camera.
Is that better, gentlemen?
Yes, just switch your camera and then you're good.
Where do I go to?
Settings. I walked you through this last week. All right, we're going to finish reading the story as soon as Dave gets himself unfornicated. I'll get him up on the screen here. So here we go. So repeating this last line, didn't start dating until high school, was still pretty awkward. So I read a lot of fantasy and fiction books, and those coupled with Holly Weird's depiction of romance put me in a very blue pill mindset. Activate save a garden implement. Had a couple mediocre and one bad relationship in high school. She threatened self-deletion and was from the foster care system.
There you go.
Then my first mistake with consequences. Oh boy. Married a girl who I shouldn't have. Got her pregnant. Then she started having issues with everything about how we were living, spreading rumors about my parents, doing hardcore drugs to any circle she was in.
Wow.
Lovely. So what you're saying is she was the one who got away.
Holy shit.
Not so much. All right. Looks like Dave has unfucked himself. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. I just got to adjust your exposure during the break later on.
You want to have me exposed more?
Well, it looks a lot bright. It looks a lot brighter on the screen than it does in this.
Okay.
You kind of look like you're in a black hole.
Yeah.
It's like my soul.
Yeah, we actually cleaned up this place quite a bit. You can actually see the floor now.
Yes, there's no fire extinguisher on a pail full of shit behind Dave anymore. There's just Dave and his crayons.
Yeah.
He's a Crayola cackaholic.
We all have our thing.
Yes, we do. Unfortunate. Long story short, she moved away, then divorced after she got residency, then moved without consulting me at all to Texas. The legal system did nothing. Called the police to report it. They essentially told me to F off.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all of this today, I was not doing well. Contemplated evacuating my meat suit, had the gun in my hands a few times, seriously wanting to be done.
Yeah, I understand completely how that is.
I don't remember how I found your channel or the Manosphere, but I've listened to you, Hammerhand, Better Bachelor, for close to a decade, give or take a few years. I suck at time. But your line specifically of don't take a permanent solution to a temporary problem has been my mantra through the hardest of times.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you guys so much for the comedy, as well as the other channels mentioned have most certainly kept me above ground. God bless my friends.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I love to hear the stories. That really got me the most was the guy who literally went home, turned on, cable, was watching some shows. He had the revolver and a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
He's like, when that bottle of whiskey's done, so am I. And then one of my videos came up, and then he kept watching more and more and more. And by the time the bottle of whiskey was empty, he was like, I think I'm going to go to bed instead.
Go to bed.
Yeah.
Better outcome.
I would rather sleep the sleep of the dead than actually be dead. That's a good mindset to be
It's
in.
better to have a hangover than, have your brains hanging over.
Ugh. It's one way to put it.
Just saying.
Got that little demonetization banner up there. As always, we are demonetized beyond reasoning, so any and all donations are absolutely appreciated, and we are not worthy. Best way to donate is through Cash App, $ Redonkulas, spelled the dyslexic way.
Or you can use the stripes.
The stripes.
Stripe. Yeah,
The stripe
works.
Not to be confused with those electrical tape bikinis, even though those are quite
No, and
structures.
we also have to put out that we're going to be gone the second half of May.
Yes. The last stream until, I want to say, this coming Tuesday will be the last Grunt Speak Live until the 28th. He's got out of town stuff going on, both in New York and Texas. I'm going to Texas as well for a week. My niece is graduating high school, and I promised her I would be there. So,
Yeah, we haven't really taken any time off in a decade.
Time off? What's that?
I don't really remember.
I know people think I'm taking time off because I'm not here on Tuesdays anymore, you foolish mortals.
No. He works his ass off.
I'm always at my desk editing my life away, as I always call it. Cut and waste, or cut and paste. Speaking of waste, this is actually one of the craziest articles. I'm going to skip over the headline because I think this will work more pointedly if you don't see it coming all over your face, neck, back, and thighs.
So this is from Psychological
Yeah,
today.
this is about the OF.
Ah.
Yeah, you'll notice on YouTube that I couldn't use those words because apparently now videos can get flagged for demonetization if you use them. But we're probably going to wind up using them anyway because we're terrible at self-censorship.
Yes, yeah, we get yelled at quite a bit.
There we go. OnlyCans, as you may know, is an online platform for explicit, spicy content. It has as many as 130 million users, and much of its success has been attributed to the sense of connection the subscription-based model gives consumers during the pandemic. What you find on OnlyCans is not always exactly corn, at least not in the traditional sense, but it's not corn. Much like Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart said of corn back in 1964, I know it when I see it. And if you're on OnlyCans for a few minutes, even seconds, you'll certainly see some. Generally speaking, men tend to consume more corn compared to women. There's an emerging evidence that men are at the center of a larger loneliness epidemic, which women think is all our fault, of course, because we're not marriageable enough.
Well, the OF.
Yeah.
In reality, with the size of women today, it's refrigerator porn. And they're just showing you their shelves and drawers. That's it.
I really don't want to know what's in the crisper.
Yeah, because
Just so we're clear.
Curvy used to be like curvy. Now
Yeah.
curvy is like curvy, and roomy is the entire room.
Yeah, and Frigidaire is when it starts dripping from the freezer into the fridge, and
Ugh.
you use your own imagination as to what kind of a euphemism you want to put with that.
Or it could be poop wound seepage.
All the eyes look void. So
I almost got you.
Poop wound pass denied.
I almost got you.
That was a good one.
I almost spit. That's awesome.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that'd be a great one for the troons instead of only cans. You do only trans, and then you have a poop wound patrons.
Transanity.
Francois, thank you so much for
Oh
coining
my
that
God,
term.
that was awesome.
It was beautiful.
Dude.
Well, even if he didn't coin it, it's the first time I've heard it,
Yes.
and I think it's beautiful.
No, I'm using that forever.
Forever. It's really good. I like that one. So data from Pew Research indicates 63% of men under 30 are single by choice. So how is that a loneliness epidemic if it's by choice?
Well, okay. I think they're single by choice because the women of this generation, let's just be honest, they're canker sore swamp donkey buttholes.
it's just exhausting.
He's waiting for me to drink when he says this shit. You ass.
I'm not trying. I mean, this is how I talk. But I mean, we have girls going across the stage for high school with the 1,000-cock stare.
You ain't kidding.
And then when you hear, if you date a woman that's in college and she says she's part of a sorority, you can automatically inflate her body count by 30 to 40%.
There you go.
All right. Usually women go to college, and from freshman to senior year, they'll average anywhere between 12 and 15 bodies.
Yep.
Add a prostitute sandwich on top of that, you're coming up on 18 to 22. I'm just saying.
It's just,
And once a woman goes over 5, she loses her ability to pair bond.
yeah, man. I mean,
So
you could
what's
just
your-
imagine all the different salad dressings mixing up in there. It
stop.
reminds me of using the shop vac to suck out all the frickin'
Ugh.
leftover cheese and ranch and all the stuff at Olga's. And then you know what happens if you forget to wash out the shop vac? It all coagulates and gets curdly, and bacterial vaginosis.
Then you got to clean it out with lemon juice. What were you saying, Dave?
So what you're saying is by sophomore year, a lot of them, it's over.
Yeah, they can't even
It's
pair
over.
bond.
It's
Yeah,
over.
it's done.
Yeah, it's done.
They
That's
have
a
lost
wrap.
the ability to pair bond by the time they're 16.
Yeah, and
That's just ridiculous.
well, and also remember when you were young. We all remember when we were young, and we were just fucking on it. All you did is think about pussy, tits, tits, wind blows, book block, ba ba ba. I mean,
just hammer an ass 24/7, 365.
if you could, you would.
Yeah.
Literally, you like, and you got used to being, hey, how you doing? Oh, you hate me? Okay. Hey, how you doing? Oh, all right. I'm ugly. Okay. What about you?
The rejection's our default setting.
It's a,
Just go on to the next.
it is
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
They're like a
today
bus. There'll be another one along in a minute.
that it has gotten so bad where men are literally suppressing this primal mating urge because the women out there are that atrocious.
If they when you have things like passport bros and the MGTOW movement and whatnot, the final seal, the final nail, so to speak, in the coffin, once you legalize prostitution, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
They all these chicks are gonna have to develop a personality and keep it closed. And I'm not trying to
Personality?
be funny, but that's literally
Personality? What's that?
I don't know, man. But the thing is like a lot of these women have that instinct, driving them to look for the bigger and the better thing.
Oh, yeah.
And
And they think now that like OnlyCans has become literally the number 1 career path for women right out of high school. I'm assuming it used to be waitressing.
Hooters.
I mean, either way, you're serving some shit up on a platter, but
But you know,
this is
listen,
bad.
I'm 55, and I know about 3 women who worked in the stripper industry when they were like 19 to like 24ish.
Now it's the majority.
They are still single today.
Of course, because no man is going to write a check against that.
Yeah,
No
I mean-
self-respecting man is going to write a check.
All 3 of them all made a play for the pop star, and I was like,
No, thank you.
you know, we're cool and everything, but
No,
I
thank
can't do it.
No.
Not on a permanent basis.
Yeah.
I'm not signing that check.
you.
Not when you bring the state in.
Yeah,
No.
the decline is the only line they haven't snorted off of
No,
somebody's cack.
And it's horrible, but that's just the way it is. And unfortunately, the media and the feminazis out there have brainwashed the young girls of today, thinking that there will be no consequences for these actions.
Yeah, it's so much easier to try to literally reprogram men's thinking meat as a blanket hole to just sex work is real work, and my body count doesn't mean anything. And if you don't think so, then you're outdated, you're a traditionalist, you're toxic, blah 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 blah. No,
And they only say that up until the point where you pull out the checkbook and the pen, and then they're like, "Oh no, we'll do whatever you want. You're a nice guy." Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, no.
Look, listen, if I have my way, I'm bringing the marriage rate to fucking 0. I am sick and tired of young men out there getting hooked up with these Wamalo, empty, bottomless Bermuda Triangle vaginal kill dishes. And then literally it's killing men hand over fist, and nobody's talking about it.
And it's actually not good for the economy. If you look at how household debt is and who spends it and on what and where it's at, it's actually it's incentivized to behave recklessly, to spend recklessly, and then to go and basically profit off of it. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Yep.
F it in the A. Now, this next paragraph here is where shit gets really interesting. And I think it kind of flies in the face of what all of us would think makes sense in this capacity. Some experts blame social media and corn for this decline in connection. Given that OnlyCans represents the intersection of the two, it would make sense that lonely single men would be driving the company's success. It is a convenient theory. The only problem is that the opposite seems to be true. A majority of OnlyCans subscribers are married men. So the platform may be less an antidote to loneliness and more of a fidelity cheat code. Oh, you mean like polyamory, which is primarily instigated by women.
All right. First of all, if you guys go to Reddit and search for my name on there, you will come across the polyamory page.
Yeah, the polyamory is narcissism episode is one of my all-time favorites.
But the people in the comments are like, too bad he didn't die in Iraq. Yeah, like,
they don't like you too much.
They don't like me at all.
Because, well, that's
care.
They have to
Not
resort to that because they can't negate.
There's
the points
no
and sources
logical
of the video.
argument.
Of
There's
course
no
not.
logical argument against it. Of course they hate
It's
it.
full-blown narcissism.
In every one of our videos, we have the sources, the studies. We tell the truth. And that type of lifestyle does not work unless...
No. And within 5 years, 40% of them get an STI.
Oh, no. Unless you're a sheik, you have a harem, a bunch of eunuchs who have had their balls cut off to make sure nobody messes with that harem.
Genghis Khan.
Other than that, it will never work out.
Correctamundo.
I'm not... never is a big word. How about we say a majority of the time it's going to implode in your face.
Figuratively and literally.
And your only parting gift will be herpagona syphilades and maybe a kid that you may or may not think is yours.
It doesn't matter. You're still going to be paying.
There you go.
There you go.
All she has to do is hide it from you for 2 years.
2 years in a day.
But don't you love how this is a fidelity cheat code for the married men, but for the ladies who insist on pushing polyamory on their simp husbands? Well, you just lack emotional intelligence if you don't think you can be polyamorous.
Well, here's the thing.
You're suppressing me. You're using outdated cultural norms to suppress my sexuality. Oh, it's such a toxic patriarchy. Where?
Then just leave.
Yeah.
Just leave.
Go.
Listen, if you're with a woman and she starts talking like that, like we need to spicing up our relationship. Maybe we should invite a third person.
You want to spice up our
Leave.
relationship? Fine. I'll put a scorpion pepper in your cunt. How does that sound?
If she's coming at you with that brazen, either A, she's already lost respect for you, or B, there's somebody already there.
Yes.
There you go.
There's
Well,
like
yeah. As soon as she introduces the concept of sleeping with other people, she has either already done it or she's at least picked somebody out.
But yeah, that's just, you just need to be like,
Because by the time women start talking about shit, they've already laid the groundwork to plan.
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
They've got the blueprint.
They've already manufactured different
Yes.
dramatizations of how it's going to go in their head 48 different ways.
So
Or
what they're
69
not,
if you prefer.
but what they're not expecting is what you should probably do is look at it and be like, let me think about this. And then go into your account and go hire an attorney
Yes.
and get out.
That's right.
Bye-bye.
Get the hell out of there.
Done and done.
Be the plaintiff.
Yes.
Reward yourself.
Now, you would always agree, Pop, that a majority just has to be 51%, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, it could just be 51%, right? After this survey, which admittedly is a small sampling group, 335 men, 383 women ages 18 to 71. But with that kind of an age spread, I mean, the law of mathematical averages does apply,
You're
unless
still
you're
gonna get
stupid
the bell
enough to
curve.
believe that the 2020 election was legitimate.
Yes.
Researchers found that subscribers on average were 63% male, 68% white, 89% married. So even if you
Wow.
factor in the law of averages where it can go 5% in either direction, you're still talking about a super majority of OnlyCans subscribers being married dudes.
So it isn't a bunch of simstitutes.
No, it's married dudes.
11% of them are actual simps.
59% identifying as hetero, 37% as bi or pan. The latter finding may sound unusually high, but a 2022 Gallup poll revealed that bi squared individuals, make up a majority of the alphabet demographic, 57%.
But just look at that
Wow.
stat, 89%.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? That tells me, at least this is strictly my opinion, that marriage today is obsolete and dead.
It just, that's not sustainable on either end.
No.
That's bad.
And 89% of
That-
these dudes who are married are actual master debaters.
No,
They're doing marriage wrong.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
it's kind of sad.
It is.
it
very
is. It's
sad.
very much. So 82% overall were either in a romantic and or sexual relationship. These researchers concluded the content had a more positive impact on users' relationships and sex lives than a negative one. Here's where the propaganda comes
The
in.
logic damning.
Many participants in our study reported expansions of their experiences, including new sexual configurations and relationship configurations, explains Marie Lippman, shocker, a chick who's an associate professor of psychology. That's totally a real science
All right,
at
what do they
California
mean
State University.
by that word configuration?
Basically a reconfigure. Instead of 2 people in a relationship, you get 3 people in a relationship.
I was just gonna is it 4 tits and 2 pussies, or is it 2 tits and 2 dicks? Or because it's all gay sex with a witness.
Most of the time, these polyamory situations turn into finger cuffs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, they start off. They bait you in with, "I have a friend, and we can bring her in. It'll be so much fun." And then the guy's like, "Well, okay, 2 is better than 1, I guess." And before you know it, well, we brought her in. Now we're bringing in Darius.
I mean, just think about the message that sends to you as a man. When your woman's like, "Oh, I want to bring another woman into this." Okay. She doesn't desire you. That's
Correct.
the first
Yeah.
thing that you should hear, because if the idea of you plowing another chick doesn't disgust her to her core, she doesn't desire you, and she never did.
True.
She's looking for. She's opening the escape hatch so she can monkey branch to the next Kiyaka
and still use your wallet.
Yep. There's a reason we made the 3-way survival guide and the polyamory is narcissism episodes. If you haven't watched them, check them out. Trust me, definitely worth your time.
Yep.
Anything that pisses off that many Redditors has to be worth your time.
You know you're doing something right when you're getting that much flack.
You're damn right. That's amazing. And then, of course, you have this nonsense here. Past studies of OnlyCans have shown consistent results. About 1/3 of 822 partnered individuals admitted to fantasizing about consensual non-monogamy, with most wanting to try it. Instead of breaking up marriages, Littman believes that OnlyCans may reflect changing views about marriage and relationships. She's working on a follow-up study that investigates this theory. Which I'm sure she already has a preconceived conclusion for that she's going to cherry pick the results of.
All right. I was only married for 6.5 years before, my ex turned into
she scratched your 7-year itch.
Yeah, she scratched her 7-year itch with a wood chipping machine. Took all kinds of logs, if you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. And like when it first happened, I was like, okay, if maybe we can work through this. And then once I dug into it, because that's how I am, people are like, well, now that you know, don't dig into it. It'll only give you more pain. That's what ordinary people say.
Yeah.
I am not an ordinary individual. So if I'm going to have to eat shit, I'm going to eat the whole fucking bowl in one sitting, and I'm not going to I'm just going to end it. Because most guys in ordinary land, they find out their old lady's cheating on them, and then that's the first bite of shit.
Yeah.
And then, they find something else and something else. So they're like, and it could go on for fucking years. 10 years of eating shit. No, just do it once, get it over with, get on with your life.
Yep. That's why then they smile. It looks like caramel corn.
I'm just saying.
It's quite disgusting, actually, now that I visualize it. My bad. Now we can definitely tell where this person comes from here with their so-called study. Despite stereotypes about men who watch corn, addiction is not considered to be a valid psychiatric diagnosis.
That is absolutely incorrect.
It is absolutely incorrect. Oh, it gets worse.
Okay.
Wait. That said, more problematic corn has been linked to more religious upbringings and the baggage it may bring. Like corn in general, there's little reason to believe that OnlyCans content is psychologically and universally harmful to those who use it, except the absolute mountain of research going back decades.
It's porn.
Well, first of all,
destroys you. What the fuck?
I mean, porn is literally,
Woo!
If you get crazy with it, you actually lose your, at least is what I've read, you've actually you lose your desire for the actual real thing.
And you can lose your function.
Correct.
Which is, that's going to happen with age anyway. Why would you front load it with a bunch of corn usage? Damn.
Same thing with women. I mean, they get on those electric tools and, they're killing all kinds of nerve cells down there in their mixed up junk.
Yeah.
Wow. God, that's horrible.
Oh, that'll be a hilarious video follow-up later on the Fucked Up and Funny segment.
It reminds me of a dude I was in the army with who watched porn all the time. And he always had this one tape. He'd watch it over and over again.
Why?
And I remember we walk into his hooch and he's watching it. I look over and there's a person with a drill with a dildo on it. And like stuff is flying off. And I'm like,
no! Why?
I'm like,
hot.
I had another dude next to me. We walk in. He's just like, are we serious? This is disgusting. Turn that shit off.
Ring, ding, 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 ding.
I'm serious. Every time I hear about, I remember that.
Yeah. These ladies, that they get something that requires like jumper cables and a car battery, and then they use it on their downstairs mix-up, which is littered with more nerve endings than you can find virtually anywhere else on their body.
Correct.
And then they wonder why a biological penis no longer does the job.
Yeah.
Well, let's just put it this way. You ever, cut down bushes with a chainsaw or even just a hedge trimmer?
Mm-hmm.
You do that for maybe 15, 20 minutes, half hour tops, typically, if you're not like a lumberjack and you do it all day, every day. How long does it take for you to get feeling back in your hands?
About a half an hour.
Yeah. So let's say you start compounding such damage in a very sensitive area, sometimes for a half hour to an hour at a time, or if you're one of these bitches on OnlyCans, hours a day.
Yep.
Sooner or later, it's basically just gonna throw in the bullshit towel, and you're done.
That's pretty much how it works.
Oh, no man can satisfy me. I need to have toys. I need to have this and that. I don't know why this woman sounds like Hank Hill. I need toys and this and that. No man can satisfy this pussy. I wash it in the sink. I have to use the little hand hose. Shh. That's the only way I can reach all my crevasses.
You sound just like him.
Boom hour in the corner. No, I don't like the sound of that at all. I really don't. This is bad. One last bit before we move on to the next article here. You guys are welcome to read all of these in their entirety. Everything's on redonkulas.com. Lightums and Littman's work suggests that secretive subscriptions in committed relationships actually do not reflect the majority of users. As for men who utilize OnlyCans with the consent of their partners, pivoting to paywalled content can be a way to ensure that performers are profiting. What that has to do with the secretive subscription thing, I have no idea. It's also possible that the platform is less stigmatized than its free corn competitors. You wish. For example, Beyonce mentioned OnlyCans in her 2020 remix of Savage, and actress Bella Thorne earned $1 million from her first day on the site.
How many years has it been around?
It's been around for a while, but it didn't start really gathering steam until 2020.
Okay.
I want to say it was originally started in like 2017. It was bought by an investor a couple years later, and then this.
So it's not even a decade into it.
Yeah. Welcome to current year.
All right.
So on the other hand, the 2021 study revealed that OnlyCans creators and women who are involved in sex work are frequently targets for harassment, dehumanization, and prejudice. No. It's not harassment, dehumanization, and prejudice to accurately assess that sex workers might as well just cash it in now.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's accurate.
I'm gonna
It's
preach
not
it.
dehumanizing to tell you that your actions will have consequences.
You'll never be a wife or a mother.
That's exactly
Well, no,
it.
they could be a mother.
They could be a mother, yeah.
Well, okay, they'll never be a mom.
They'll-
They'll never be a wife or mom.
That they'll walk through the popsicle aisle, say hi to daddy.
Well, I'm sure there's some women out there that'll be able to keep it secret. Because most men, once they find out that the woman that they're with has been engaged in that craziness, it does pretty much turn stuff off.
Yeah.
And you're not turning it back on.
Nope. Same thing when they cheat.
Yep.
You know, it's just like, and a lot of times, like the women will be like, "Oh, you're just spiteful or whatever." It's like, no, you don't understand. I'm genuinely not physically attracted to you.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
It
Yeah.
is a wrap.
Can't get hard on with you now. Sorry, gotta go to
Bye-bye.
OnlyFans.
And of course, the one thing that these two scholars completely failed to mention, it wasn't even within the scope of their so-called study, the sexless marriages. You just did a whole layer on it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
25 to 50% of marriages are sexless as
Yep.
of 2022.
Okay, first of all, if you are in a sexless marriage, get the hell out.
Yeah.
Because somebody lied to you, manipulated you, and only wanted you for your provisions.
Yep.
Unfortunately, listen, when you're young, remember when you would go to like wedding receptions and the old guy would walk up to you and go, "Don't ever get married." They're trying to save you because they are stuck with probably a sexless marriage with a significant other who has probably gained so much weight she's picked up additional moons
Yeah.
in orbit. It's just so savage and sad, in my opinion, because these men are trapped.
Yeah.
They're literally trapped there. And they believe these things like, oh, happy wife, happy life. It's cheaper to keep her. You only live once, that you remember.
There
And
you
if
go.
you're stuck in a horrible situation like that, get yourself out of it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it, in my opinion.
Oh, you're correct.
That is just sad.
But of course, how does this stunning and brave, totally real scientist, because psychology is a real science, how do they decide to look into it? Well, here it is. With women increasingly able to choose their destiny.
Okay.
You've
Well, they can.
you misspelled betrayal, selfishness, all of these things that tend to lead to women in their 50s and 60s being divorced after crushing a man into the dust in divorce and family court. I'm just saying. Many are looking for more passionate love in their 50s and 60s. Good luck with that.
You know where you can find that, right? In the swinger camps in Florida.
Yeah. And gray divorces are spiking, whatever those are. But it isn't just middle-aged women making different choices. In college-age samples, recent studies suggest an overall decline in sexual intimacy that is clearly present in Gen Z. One may want to blame the so-called hookup culture, but the authors suggest that's not it. Depends on who they are. If this is who I think it is, Lay, there's not a shred of credibility to that. I'm just saying that's the kind of person who writes with an absolute asshat of a human being like Dan Savage. If you remember from our video on the people who open their marriages may be actually happier, the cuckolding fantasy video that we did, where the whole drinking straw fiasco came from.
Oh God.
Among other variables like financial instability, which makes you a gold digger, and playing too many video games, which means you don't want a man to have hobbies. The authors cite an inability to initiate romantic relationships as a primary contributor to the decline. The inability to initiate romantic relationships, I wonder if that could be because social media has overinflated the egos of the below average women to the point where even above average men can't approach them without getting denied because they're too short.
Correct. Yeah, listen.
Wow.
I'm envisioning, like, by 2050, it is just going to be an apocalypse of, single people.
Yeah.
Like, literally, it's just sad.
Yeah. And you know what? Even without OnlyFans, the vast majority, apparently, of the OnlyCans subscribers are going to be married dudes. But even without that, even without the actual X work, modern women love to destroy marriages.
Ah, yeah?
Yeah, I decided to look this up because this tweet keeps popping up on my feed all the time, so I decided to look into it. From Rabid Wookie. I knew a single guy in college that wore a fake wedding ring because it helped him get attention from women. He slept with dozens of women that thought he was cheating on his wife with them. When he told them he was single afterwards, they were all outraged.
I know a dude in the Navy who did that.
Yeah.
It's extremely common from what I understand, because as soon as I saw this, I was like, all right, I got to look more into this. Here's a Reddit thread. I wear a wedding ring to pick up girls. The first time I heard about this, I thought it was one of those worn out tricks like borrowing your friend's dog to attract chicks at the park, but I was honestly shocked by the success that pretending to be a newlywed brought me. The trick definitely works on your relatively young years, as I can only theorize that it adds to your novelty by playing on pre-selection. I've only revealed the truth to a throwaway one-night stand, and her reaction was priceless. She was really mad that I lied about this. Imagine deconstructing the morality of this situation. I'm surely not going to wrap my head around it. The reason I'm posting this as a confession is because for a moment I genuinely felt bad for deceiving, but that moment lasted until I realized that the women I attracted only did so because of the feeling of taking a man away from other women. So I guess it depends on your worldview whether or not I did something immoral, but it feels good to share this with a bunch of random, anonymous people.
Wow.
The reason why they get angry is very simple. When you're married or in a relationship and they're not, they can put 100% of the blame on you in their sick, twisted head. Because in their mind, it doesn't take two to tango. You're entirely to blame for everything. As soon as you reveal that you didn't do anything wrong, suddenly they're the only ones to blame because they were willing to sleep with a married man. And they cannot stand that kind of self-reflection and accountability.
Well, yeah, because it's basically pointing the barrel of guilt directly at them, and women hate that.
Oh, yeah.
Can't have that.
No.
Yep. Neo dodging bullets in the Matrix. I'm saying.
Responsibility, accountability.
You know, the plane, it's like equal rights, equal responsibilities. Turn around. We're going back to base.
Taking charge of my life.
It's sad, man. And there's been actual articles written on this and like what can be considered kind of leftoid rags. Here it is. Why your husband gets hit on more when he's wearing a ring. It's very common. My husband's hanging out with some friends and an extremely attractive young woman walks in. She's very blonde, very sexy, very uninterested in giving him the time of day until she overhears talk of how he's married. Woman's eyes light up a bit. She introduces herself, and so it begins. The reliable flirting dance of the single woman and the married guy. I've seen it 1,000,000 times. And when I was single, I played a part in the dance myself.
Yep.
I'm curious, I finally asked my husband, why is it that you think you get hit on more now that you have that ring on your finger? Is it the commitment itself, just like catnip? I really don't get it. He considers it for a few minutes and responds, I think a happily married guy projects something like stability, and stability's attractive. Well, apparently some sexpert, ironically named Tracy Cox.
Hang on. We keep talking about these sexperts, right?
Yeah.
We are in,
and most of those people never get laid,
the screwed up situation we are because of so-called sexperts.
Yes.
Who basically drew a line between sex and gender and then attacked gender in a way that you can literally mean almost anything.
Yeah.
And it's interchangeable.
And then from that, they took that and applied it to actual biological sex.
Yeah. And we are now in bizarro land.
This is why you never, ever give an inch.
That's right.
On this stuff. As soon as you stand back and say, okay, you have a point, guess what?
They just come at you.
Bad news bears. So Tracy Cox, very ironic name for a sex expert, suggested 8 different reasons single women are prone to be more interested in married men, and they all hit way too close to home. It's animalistic. Mate poaching, or the less judgy sounding mate choice copying, is when a mammal expresses preference for the male who's been seen with other females, and even mated with them. Another way of calling pre-selection.
Mm-hmm.
The freaking wedding industrial complex, man. A guy with a ring has proved he can take the leap, and that's appealing, especially to a woman who is sick of flakes, Peter Pans, and perpetual bachelors. So, of course, the best thing that you can do with a guy who can take the leap is to, insert yourself in a way to make him betray somebody so that you can justify never trusting him and cheating on him.
Correct.
Yep.
Makes all the sense in the world as long as you're a fucking moron.
And not only you're breaking up a marriage, you're scarring a bunch of children if there are there.
Yep.
And plus the ex-wife.
Yes.
I mean, that is like the epitome of selfish.
It is.
Wow.
Women dig a happily married guy who dotes on his wife. Cue the line, why are all the good ones taken?
You mean jealousy and envy?
Yes, it's very much. Women keep women single, and
here's the
they can create other single women.
Is they'll go after this guy, and if they're successful, it's just a matter of time for they basically dump him, cheat on him with Chad and Tyrone.
Yeah.
The bad boy will come in and take him right away.
There you go.
It's not worth it, gentlemen.
No.
Not worth it.
Emotional affairs.
Here we go.
These are so easy to fall into and so dangerous. A married guy talking to single women about his marital woes is going to lead to a bunch of hurt feelings and potentially physical affairs. Yeah, never, ever share your marital woes with a woman.
Oh, my God.
If you value your sanity. It's comforting to deal with a married guy who, in theory, isn't trying to close. It's pretty appealing, right? All that sexual and romantic heat, but with a deniability of the wedding ring. That just sounds dumb. Marriage is adulting 101, and nothing makes a lady wetter than legally binding patriarchal institutions of oppression. So now you get a very good idea of just how stupid the author of this article is.
Wow.
What does that mean?
Patriarchal institutions of oppression. You mean like the Democratic Party?
Well, they used to think the same of the Boy Scouts. and they destroyed them.
They think everything is patriarchy.
That's actually called the Scouts of America now.
Whatever.
They just changed it the other day to be more
The
inclusive.
hell with them.
Yeah,
Fuck them.
fuck them.
Every single one of these women who throw around terms like this, like the chick on the Whatever podcast who said that he sounded like a misogynist, he asked her to define it, and her response was to break down in tears and ask to leave.
Yes.
Okay? That's all of these women to a T.
I saw that too. I was
Yep.
like, why is she
It was
crying?
hilarious.
Wow.
If your single girlfriend sees that you are satisfied with your husband, she may envy that. They think, wow, that guy must be amazing. Yes. Women will often set their own death trap, and we need to add this to the list of classic mistakes. They tell their friends how good their boyfriend or husband is in bed.
Yeah.
And as soon as you do that, if your friends are single, they're going to start to wonder.
Yep.
Yeah. Not hasn't happened to me since I've been married, but when I was single, yeah. I had a few women try to get between me and who I was with because the woman that I was with couldn't keep her fucking mouth shut. That's why you don't give out the 10 dick.
That's right. You don't pass out the 10 dick willy-nilly. And to be honest with you, if you talk to women, you need to expect that there are no secrets. She will tell all of her friends and family.
You ain't kidding.
So, if you're starting to catch feels for a woman, and you have this wave of honesty, and you want to tell her where all the fucking bodies are buried and all the other shit, don't do that.
You could just start off with a whole fake persona. Get a fake social media, fake dating site. I'll be Dan. Be Dynamite Dan.
Dynamite Dan.
That's how you do it. Then just get rid of them.
Yes.
What are you setting up here?
Huh?
I am setting up because it's been a while since I've done this, and the charcuterie board was a really big hit. So I decided that, you know what? It's about time that I do another toxic top 10.
Oh, okay.
And I figured, yeah, you know what? I was coming up with different names because I was trying to think, okay, how can we skirt the algorithm talking about the OF site? And then in the process, I started coming up with all these things that could be other websites. So here you go. Here's your top 10 alternatives to OF. Only Trans, a website for the mentally ill corn. Only Cans, where women put canned food on their cans and eat it off. Sounds like a good time.
Or that's all you see is cans.
There you go. Only Sands, where sex on the beach, for once, the irritating cunts are literal and not figurative. Only Dans, for women with a fetish of banging guys named Dan. Only Flans, obese men pulling their puds to gifts of wobbling custard dishes, is ideal for former hog slayers and people with Tourette's of the elbow. Only Bands, a site about nothing because leftists cancel everything that's funny. Only Vans, this is one of my favorites. The Kid Brothers site of the Bang Bus, only this time the van is driven by a soccer mom who will beat you with a fly swatter because until you make the chick come, she'll scream, "Are we there yet?" Only Hands, a corn site for amputee handjob videos.
Dude, that's so fun.
That's pretty toxic.
I know, right? Only Pans. Now, this one could be a few potential ones here. Women cooking greasy food naked for fans of burn victim corn exclusively. Or a site for pansexuals who pick their herpes scabs.
What exactly is a pansexual anyway?
Somebody who's attracted to everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, quite disgusting. And then, of course, Only Mans, where you sign up for the gay cruise. I had fun with that.
That's funny.
And that's tonight's Toxic Top 10. Hope you guys
That was
enjoyed it.
pretty good, bro. That was pretty good.
Oh, I have fun writing those up. They're fun. When they come to me, I always get it up to a list of 10, and then I bring it to the show. I said get it up. It was bad phrasing. I'm sorry. But I always have to make
phrasing.
Phrasing. Boom. Nailed it. Oh, what a day. And, or should I say, but we also have some deployment stories that have been simmering
Oh, yeah.
in the story folder. And I figured after all this ridiculous propaganda about OnlyCans and everything like that.
Listen,
A few stories sound like a good time.
here we go.
All right. I had them picked out here. First one goes by hilarious drill sergeant encounter. This comes from a man formerly known as Cement Butter Hauler, and now goes by Vincent Van Gogh Fuck Yourself.
Okay.
Just got to find it here. Here it is. I was working in Texas, worked at an HVAC company, and one of my coworkers was a grunt in the Army. He told me one time he was getting smoked by a drill sergeant. I think he said something kind of sarcastic and joking. Drill sergeant said, "John, if you could somehow tell me how 1 + 1 = 3, you don't have to do any more push-ups." So John goes, "Well, you see, Sergeant, when a man and a woman have sex and then they have a kid, 1 + 1 can indeed equal 3. Sergeant stood there, silent. And he goes, technically, you're right. He wanted to continue smoking him, thinking that John was going to give him a stupid answer. John goes, "So do I have to do the push-ups?" Sergeant's like, "No. One more thing." "Yes, Sergeant? Let's get the fuck out of my sight."
That happens all the time. Get out of here.
I knew you could identify with that one.
That's good.
I've run into quite a few assets in my career where I'm just like, all right, stop talking about face. Stop talking. Get the hell out of here. I don't want to see it till after 2:00.
Oh, that's a good one. Norcephius in the chat only glands when she just wants the tip. Yes, that's good. Beautiful. Absolutely. There were a couple that I left off, like OnlyTans, which would just be a website that celebrates Trump's bronzer. Yeah. Quite awful.
That would be Orange Man Good.
Orange Man Good.
Yeah.
Orange Man very good.
Dude.
I know it's bad. Next story here is called Deployment Story. Very simple. From a man who goes by Sergeant Frank. "Hello, Pop Toxic Male and all you wonderful savages. Number 534 here.
Wow.
And I have a story to share with you. Pop, I just bought your first book, and I'll be sending it to you for an autograph and a few items I 3D printed as small humor gifts." Now on with the story. In parentheses, this actually happened.
Oh shit. Okay.
2014. Deployed on Operation Carib. Canadian Navy, United States Navy, United States Coast Guard, anti-drug ops, Gulf of Mexico. We actually had a decent bust of over 600 kilos of booger sugar.
Wow.
That year. My ship was doing a refueling port stop in Honduras, and the CO gave us shore liberty until midnight for personnel not on duty. Prior to being set free, we all got the classic briefs of the local dangers. But and the ship's docks issuing us wrappers for our torpedoes. That's important. Well, in the brief, we were told to avoid certain parts of the city due to gangs and cartel controlling the area. Words of wisdom. You guess right. That's exactly where we all ended up. Hell, that's where most of the best local bars are located, according to Google.
Actually, that's totally true. That's totally true.
You see, it wasn't my fault. I just went where Google told me to go.
I can't tell you how many times in my career, like, these are absolute no-go areas. You will not go into this area. And we're all like, oh, that's just terrible. As soon as we walk out off post, get the take us to the bad part of town.
Take us to there.
Okay.
It's all good. It's all good.
Because there's always crazy shit going on.
Is that how you saw the donkey show? It is. Oh, I knew it.
Oh, that's brutal.
Do you want a donkey show? I don't want to know, man. I'm just glad that I can't actually get in your head and see that, because I think
that was a bad day for the popster.
That'd be a very bad day for everybody.
That just ruined it.
What a jackass. Bunch of us ended up at the Gentleman's Club.
Shaker Club.
Those are totally aptly named, by the way. They have, and I say it was decent. Girls were a solid 5 to 7, and they were hungry for the money. Midway through the evening, I decided to have some good times, have the torpedo polished and hopefully loaded into a launcher. Can you teach like a euphemism school? This is hilarious. I selected my target. I'd say she was in her early 20s, nice rack and ass. Bonus, it did not smell fishy. Solid 5.5, pushing on a 6 with full stripper makeup. Do you have any idea what that's going to look like when it comes off?
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
C-section scars. I set battle stations and prepped for torpedo firing. Pop, I don't know about your Latina ex, but God, she rocked my world for that hour. After the conclusion of torpedo ops. Okay, from now on in the show, we're not going to use the S word. We're just going to call it torpedo ops. Oh, that's great.
Okay.
That's when I realized, I was in trouble. Remember, we're in cartel gangland, and I am a foreigner, and I only had about $30 left in my wallet.
Uh-oh.
This is bad, right? But weirdly enough, I had a few bills of, drumroll, Canadian Tire cash. So I had a choice to make. Give her the remaining U.S. cash I had and hope I can convince her the rest was actual Canadian dollars. I thank my lucky stars she was gullible enough to take it, and the ship was leaving at 0700.
Okay.
So I had a great evening, good local brew, good female entertainment that ended up only costing me $30 and about $2 on Canadian Tire store money. 50-cent bills I explained the C was for Canadian. She thought she got paid $200. Woo!
You're lucky. You're lucky.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, you're lucky you got away with that one.
No shit. He says, I'll freely admit it was a dick move, but hey, I was a young sailor slinging my DNA in ports all over the world. I actually think I may have a son and a daughter in France and Scotland, respectively.
Wow.
Thanks for sharing this story for all to enjoy and hopefully laugh a bit.
Savage.
Wow. Can you imagine the kind of fucked up cultural family dynamics that would happen at that reunion if you do have a son and a daughter in France and Scotland?
Well, let's be honest.
The French one would run away from the Scottish kid running after it with its dick wagging with a frickin' kilt and a knife in its hand.
Jeez.
Well, I know about a half a dozen dudes that got kids in Korea, Japan, Germany, France, UK, all over South America.
Oof.
Like, I'm literally some of these guys. I'm like, you've heard of a condom, right?
You would think.
Did you
like
actually?
Nick Cannon? How many fucking kids does Nick Cannon have now? My
I
God.
don't know. I'm like, did you catch anything? Oh, I'm glad. Hopefully, I didn't. I'm like, what do you mean? Hopefully. Well, I haven't noticed anything yet. It's been years. I'm like, dude,
Ugh.
you're dirty.
Ugh. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, I think Nick Cannon has like 8 baby mamas or some shit.
Who's Nick Cannon?
It's the fucking douchebag who hosts the what is it? The Masked Singer on the show, whatever. He used to be married to Mariah Carey back in the day.
He's an actor, hip hop thing.
Allegedly,
He was kids.
He was in some like throwaway flick in the early 2000s called Drumline. That's the first time I ever saw him, and I was like, why is this asshole's name above the title? I've never even heard of the motherfucker.
Yeah.
I love it. Nick Cannon, never heard of her. That's some funny shit. But yeah, I mean, we were looking up just last week. It only takes 8 partners to basically guarantee that you get HPV. So if you have that many baby mamas, you're definitely been raw dogging it, unless you, I don't know, unless you shoot for distance.
Some of these numbers you dish out scare the shit out of me. I'm really like going in my head here, like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, what was it for HIV? It's like 325.
Oh yeah, it was like some astronomical number, and you basically have to be gay to get to that number.
Oh no, there's women out there that could rack up that many.
Oh, I know, but to get the hipple hit, I mean, it's like it's almost exclusively a gay thing or a fence jumper thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, there was an epidemic back in the day. No, there wasn't. There never was.
There's a bunch of fence jumpers.
There was a guy though who tried to push a drug at that time for those people with a virus.
Doesn't his last name rhyme with Ouchie?
Yeah. Yes, it does.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of people died.
A lot of people died. And beforehand, he was actually asking for people to give blood.
It's almost as if you'd have to be a fucking retard to put that guy in charge of anything more complicated than a Fisher-Price cashier set.
And that was in the 80s till now. Now, I don't know. Just saying.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, second. Last but not least, we have one from one of our show favorites, Iron Riddle.
All right.
Love this guy's stories. And this one is more of a serious one. It's called A Thank You to the Leaders of Men. I know you're very busy. I sat down and wrote this out today and ended up going in a very different direction than I thought. Please read it through. I'm believing it's worthy of a pre-recorded show. If not, read it on your next Thursday show. That's why
Okay.
we're here. When I was in active duty in the Marine Corps, I was an avionics technician. Excuse me. The unique character of this position is it needs to be filled by a 30-pound brain motherfucker who is still stupid enough to join the Marines.
Happens.
Hey, Dave, you need some crayons over there? Here.
A
little comfort food. I just imagine, like, Dave's thinking about HPV, he's just gnawing on crayons. My fucking dick's gonna fall off.
When I was in New York, the other NCO for the other company, I'm not going to use his name, but he was an aircraft tech in the Marines.
Okay.
And he got out of the Corps and wound up coming into the Army. And he's literally like across the hall from me. Guy was great. I had no complaints, but you could tell he was a little Marine-ish.
Marine-ish?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say there? What are you trying to say there, buddy?
He had a couple weird,
dumbasses.
He was Marine-ish.
Kind of like certain kids have a shorter bus. We have certain tax.
Well, he
codes.
wasn't stupid, but there were some things you just,
Well, at least there's seat belts on the short bus.
I would like, okay, here's the evidence, and this is what's going on. He goes, that doesn't make any sense. Why are you so Marine-ish here? I mean, there's the evidence right there.
Eat a crayon. You're not yourself when you're hungry. We could totally do like a fake Snickers commercial. Only instead of Snickers, it's Crayolas. Dave, you're not new when you're here. Eat a peach one. That's flesh color for the kids. You pretend it's a dick.
I feel so much better.
You son of a bitch.
I just came up with a new word, Marine-ish.
Marine-ish. I like it. Let's see if I can get through the thing.
Oh,
fuck yeah!
Right at
yes, dude, it's good. It's all good.
No, way off. Fucking
I
way
made it
off.
through the curtain. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, you're on fire.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We got the rest of this one to read. The ASVAB score to hold this missionary position, I just added that, is higher than that of a pilot. And think about it. Those guys have college degrees. I didn't know at the time that I had dyslexia, and I really thought that I was stupid because I barely got a B average just out of high school. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it?
And mine was C+ average.
And then you finally got into the Army, and they're like, oh, you're dyslexic.
Yeah.
Why it took them that long to figure that out, I have no idea.
I don't know. But it really changed my fucking life.
Yeah.
Because the way the lady explained it, she's like, do you realize you ran a marathon? You come across middle of the pack, and somebody taps you on the shoulder and says, why do you have that anchor on your back? And I was like, holy shit. Once I can get rid of this fucking anchor, y'all are fucked.
Wait,
Fucked!
you mean the hero teachers in wonderful public school systems did not catch this?
They didn't catch it now.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Shocked.
I was saying the same thing about like the first responders, the nurses and stuff. Like, if you have to put a sign outside of your hospital that says heroes work here, you're a narcissist TikToker. Okay? You're not a hero, you're doing your job.
Well, something similar happened when I was in middle school. I got sent to special education because I had anger problems.
Yeah.
And Mr. Jacobs, he's probably dead now, but he was an awesome teacher. And he comes in and he goes,
All the best teachers are probably dead.
We're like, yeah, we're doing a test today. And everyone's like, oh man. Like, don't worry about it. Just take the test. You know, it's not for a grade or anything. This is just a research kind of thing.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, so they give me the test. And I rolled through it in like 37 minutes. You had 2 hours to take it.
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of it. I just went over, put it on his desk, and then went over and started fiddling with. He had all kinds of games and toys in there. About 2 weeks later, I come into class, and he's like, "Hey, Pop, come here. I want to talk to you in my office across the hall." And we go in there. He shuts the door. He turns around, and he's like, "All right, Pop, are you fucking with me or what?" I'm like, what? I didn't. I'm like, and then I'm like, what did I do? I'm like, all right, I didn't hit his car with a bowling ball. I rolled into traffic before school.
That's a really weirdly specific thing.
Because I used to do that. I just couldn't think of it. He goes, remember 2 weeks ago we took all those tests? I'm like, yeah. Well, that was an IQ test. You know, that guy Derek over there, he's got a 67 IQ. He's an idiot. He deserves to be here. You have 138 IQ. Why are you in this fucking class? I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know.
I don't know.
He's like, he should not be here. We need to get you into the regular curriculum here, and it changed my life.
You son of a bitch.
You might not have had anger issues. You might just have had issues with stupid people.
No,
There's always that. Yeah.
Well, if you're high IQ, you should go look at high IQ and how that is. Like, you just might not have liked stupid people.
But yeah, there's
that too. Yeah.
Hartfield Lane. It was a Hartfield. Oak Park Lanes was there a 9 in Coolidge back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. I know
And every now and again they would throw out a bunch of bowling balls, and of course,
you just go pick them up and start throwing them into traffic.
Why not? Why not? There was a road right there. You literally.
I mean, the road and a bowling lane, they kind of they're not that much off.
Yeah, and I'd get 4 or 5 of my friends. We'd all be online. 1, 2, 3. We'd all roll them at once into traffic.
And this is probably like the 70s, right? This is probably like the 70s.
It's the 70s.
Yeah, so like there isn't as many people around. That's completely fine.
It's like 77.
Yeah, there isn't as much traffic and people and all that around back then as there is. That's completely fine.
I was 9 years old, the age your son is.
Yeah, of course you think so, Dave. You think MRE stands for markers ready to eat.
Like your 9-year-old son.
Yeah.
Just imagine I was his age, but I was running the streets.
Oh, yeah.
Completely unsupervised.
I was probably one of the last generations to actually get to do that.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome.
But now there's too many of Biden's friends out there trying to pick up and sex traffic every fucking kid.
I'm way too afraid to let my kid do that now.
Oh, amen.
No. And I rolled tires into traffic. I rolled bowling balls into traffic. I used to launch 1-inch ball bearings through people's windows while they were parked in the parking lot at A&P. I was a fucking asshole.
Oh, my brother and I set off a bottle rocket in our driveway out of an old glass Pepsi bottle. It went in the upstairs attic window of the house across the street. And it's like, I think we're done. Run back inside.
Yep.
We're going to get fucked up if we stay out here.
All right, finish the story. I don't want to go off. I'm sorry. I went way off the rails there.
He continues, I didn't score high enough on the ACT or the SAT to be accepted to any 4-year universities I applied to. Although I grew up with both of my parents, my dad was mostly disconnected and my mother majored in social work. She even voted for Hillary after I told her not to and all the reasons why she shouldn't. Well, social workers are not exactly...
stable.
They literally live their life in a pot boiler of emotion.
Yep.
So how do you think they're going to vote?
Yep.
My dad did not encourage me to go the way he wanted me to go, but instead would shit all over every direction I tried to go. So instead of getting encouragement, I got roadblocks and discouragement. Oh, you don't want to do fill in the blank, that's hard work, or that won't make any money, or only burnouts and druggies do that kind of work. I had no direction, no motivation, and thought life was just too hard to even try. One day I was talking to my maternal grandfather, and I heard him say this only once, and it stuck with me. World War II Army Air Corps veteran and a B-17 navigator.
Ooh.
He built himself to the senior design engineer manager from the company where he retired. He said, it doesn't matter what you do for a living, even if you're a ditch digger. You must be the best ditch digger that has ever been. Then over time, you will become the foreman over the other ditch diggers, then a manager of a digging company, and eventually you will own your own digging company. That stuck with me to show that anything you do actually requires hard work, and hard work leads to success, and it doesn't matter what other people think.
I just did a video on this. Came out last week.
Yeah. It's a good video.
That's
and
old
my mom
school,
was the same way. When I told her what I wanted to do, she's like, well, maybe you should do this because your brother's doing it, or maybe you should try that. And then by the time I was 23, I was already doing what I do professionally. And she had to just kind of walk up to me one day and she's like, you did it. And I'm proud of you.
Unfortunately, like I went in the Army. I did all of that crazy, cool stuff. Not one time did my mother or family ever show up to any of it.
Of course not.
So
That's the one thing. I mean, like, as crazy as my mom was about me going into medicine, because I could have done it. I mean,
Yeah.
like, bodily fluids and shit don't bother me. I told you the story about how my ex-girlfriend had to have her
Yeah, you
appendix
told
out,
me that
and I
one.
literally stuffed it with gauze every day, twice a day, and
Oh.
administered IV PICC line shit. So yeah, like, none of that bothered me. It's just not my passion.
It's not your thing.
This is what I love. I love doing this. I love drinking, talking shit, and setting up cameras and getting fucking pissed when it doesn't work.
Yeah, Murphy does.
Then for your hobbies is slicing shit up.
Yeah. I mean, you've met my wife. She's one of the most even-tempered people in the world, but she does what I do, except it's on the photography side of things. You ever want to hear just a litany of glorious poetic profanity coming out of her office? Just watch that rainbow wheel appear on her desktop and then close the door behind you as you leave. You just see, like, you just hear like shit rumbling and like the Tom and Jerry scream, yo! And I'm downstairs and we just hear it through the air vents, and my boy's like, "Mommy's computer's messing up again." It's like, oh, you think?
That's awesome.
Anyway, we're off in the weeds again. All right, back to the story here. This dichotomy between my dad and my grandfather was the perfect catalyst to when I was talking to a Marine recruiter, Sergeant Benson. I asked him if boot camp was hard. He said, yes, it'll be the hardest thing you have ever done in your life, but the rewards will be epic. This was back when the military was worth joining. You will become part of the elite fighting force feared by countries all over the world. Oh my God, I wanted that. I was tired of feeling like a stupid girly man, which is what I thought about myself when I was 18. Compare that to Sergeant Taylor, the Army recruiter, who said, oh no, you won't have any problems with boot camp. Won't be any more difficult than your football practice. That's a lie. And the Air Force recruiter, Sergeant Smith, who said when I walked into his office, what do you want? With his feet on the desk reading a newspaper. To which I said, not a damn thing, and I left. When I was at MEPS, is it MEPS?
MEPS.
Just call it MEPS. I sat across the desk from Master Sergeant Thompson, a tall, intimidating Marine with the thickest Deep South accent I've ever heard in my life, less than in movies. He had frame and command presence and a low, gruff voice. He looked at my paperwork and ASVAB scores and looked at the MOS selections, combat engineer, jet engine mechanic, motor transport mechanic, and he said, oh, hell no. For how I felt about myself, I thought he was going to tell me what I selected was too hard and the reasons why I wasn't smart enough, good enough, or didn't qualify. He continues in this gruff voice, you are way too smart for these shit jobs. I'm not going to let you do that to yourself. You're going to be an avionics technician.
All right.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart to all the leaders of men that changed the path of my life. My maternal grandfather, rest in peace, I miss him. My recruiter, Sergeant Benson, for being brutally honest with me. Master Sergeant Thompson, who saw something in me that no one else did. Sergeant Ost and Sergeant Neal, who kicked my ass up and down the flight line for being lazy and was awarded Avionics Man of the Year Marine Corps Bases East 2 years later.
Wow.
Mr. Gary Kay, a senior manager at my company, for giving me the knife hand and chewing my ass in 2004 for not getting my degrees. So I started and finished in 2010 with a 3.9 and 3.6 in my bachelor's and master's degrees from the #1 aviation university in the world.
All right.
And to Pop and Blake, who made Purple Heart's final beat that kept me from self-deleting in 2017.
Fuck yeah!
Winning.
Oh, shit.
I'm honored to be on the list, brother.
Fuck.
Honored.
That is awesome.
To the leaders of men, the almost countless contributors to the Redonkulas channel, both on screen and in the background, who are adding to and saving lives. Some of you have your own channels as well. Many of the Red Pill content creators, you know who you are. You are my church, my digital congregation. I'm living my best life because leaders of men, and I have become a leader of men. I have command, presence, and frame. I have earned the respect of my peers and Angel, my long-term relationship of 7 years, along with our 2 children who adore me, who are 4 and 5.5.
Nice.
Yesterday at the grocery store, a young man in his late 20s walked up to me with tears in his eyes. He said in a shaky voice, I pray to God that I find a love like you have. The way that your wife and children look at you, I'm speechless. How do you get to where you are? I said, you must become a man with frame and purpose. Find yourself in traditional manhood. Don't chase women, chase excellence.
Yes.
The women will then find you, and you will select the woman who is worthy of your excellence. I've been paying it forward, and I've created more leaders of men who are doing the same. Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. God bless toxic masculinity.
Fuck yeah, dude. That just made
Absolutely.
my whole day.
That was beautiful. And the reason why I chose these deployment stories is to show the sharp contrast between the womanist propaganda and the career path that is OnlyCans to what men do.
Yeah.
Even when we're stupid.
Well, listen, I've put a lot of dudes in the military. Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like 50-ish. All right. And not all of them in the Army.
Yeah.
Not all of them. And about 20 of them were former Marines. And they're like, I would talk to this guy. Say, yeah, I've tried to get back in, but the Marines, they put this fucking code on my DD-214 because that's what the Marines do.
Yeah.
So if you get out of the Marine Corps, they fucking put this code in there. It's fucking hard to get around.
Gee.
Well, administrative violence back then, I had like a third-degree green belt in it.
Nice.
And, like literally, I turned almost all
green belt.
I turned almost all these Marines into like paratroopers, airborne rangers, a couple Green Berets. Because they're already programmed for it. All I had to do is first you get them in the guard, then you get rid of that code.
Yeah.
And they have to be in the guard for a minimum of 1 year. So they say they come in October. By October of the following year, they drop their paperwork to our commander. I want to go active duty. Okay. No problem. And 20 some odd. It's fucking amazing. And I've all had guys come up like, well, I want to go in the service, but I want to learn a trade. I'm like, go in the Navy. Because I'm serious. HVAC, electrician, carpenter, welder, all that shit you could do in the Navy.
I want to go in the service, but I want to get laid. Go in the Navy. It won't be the kind of laid you think.
Yeah.
Air Force is great for like tech stuff.
Yeah.
Like it really is like all the the branches, but like Marine Corps and Army, like that, you should only be doing it for, a few reasons.
When I went in the Army and I decided to make it a profession, I went on a quest to become the perfect warrior. And I can't say I'm disappointed. Did I become perfect? No one ever does. No one ever becomes perfect.
But you can be the best version of yourself.
Correct.
And that's all any of us can really strive for.
And all of the fighting that I've done, the only reason I did that is because back in the day, the Army, their hand-to-hand was shit. I talked to all these guys. Like, I run 5 miles. You'll get tired of punching me before I get tired of the pain. Like, dude, this is the not way to go about this. So I literally
I can't do it.
I literally spent decades of my life learning martial arts and how to fuck people up without weapons.
There you go.
Here's the funny thing is once you master that, you start to master this.
There you go.
And you become a totally different person. And it's in my book. You can read it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Got to check it out. All right. You guys want to read some chats?
Mm-hmm.
We'll take a quick break. We have a lot of fucked up but funny submissions to watch over on New Tech. Some really funny ones tonight. One of them really ties into what we were talking about with the OnlyCans stuff.
All right.
You're going to love it. El Snow's poop puncture paste. Oh, I don't even want to know that. And he wants the Blue Oyster Bar song, please. So I got it queued up here.
Why'd you do this to me?
I'm an asshole, and I learned from the best.
Look how fat I was.
Could be worse. We'll just have to record some new green screen for you.
Well, actually, we have to get Bullshito on deck.
Bullshito.
I just talked to him today or yesterday.
Oh yeah, we got that green screen up. Well, let's thumbtack it up tonight before I leave. Ken J 1090 with a $50 donation. Thank you so much. He says chat's in the email. I already got it pulled up. Hey, Pop, I had a neat little idea. I'm hitting the gym and listening to audiobooks, music, etc. And I was thinking you should record yourself doing a drill sergeant stick for guys. Just record yourself yelling shit like, did I catch you looking at her ass? Tonight's ass, but Trump, give me 20, you dick-thinking moron. I'd buy it. I think it'd be funny. Either way, here's 50 for the war chest. Cheers.
Thank you so much, man.
You're looking at her ass. Stop it. You don't know if she's recording herself. She's going to fuck you up. She's going to splash your shit all over social media. Don't do it. You're being a dumbass. Stop. You're going to wind up as a guest star on Joey Swole. No one wants that.
Joey Swole.
You know who I'm talking about. He's the dude who always holds these fucking bitches in the gym accountable for filming shit.
I like it. I think it's good.
Oh, he makes good stuff. I'm just like, no one wants to be like in the background on Joey Swole. You go like, yeah, I was looking. Sue me.
Listen, at 55, I will still look at a good rack.
Oh, of course.
I can't help it. I'll be
like, you're going to look at a good rack, but you know it comes with trouble.
I see it now, and I'm like, I kind of look at it like it's almost like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
Yeah.
you need that much attention? That's kind of how I got to that.
right.
Like,
It's not even happening just at the gym. I went to Kebab House a few months ago, and I'm standing in line, and the chick in front of me is literally wearing yoga pants that looked like she had to be sewn into them.
Yep.
I could literally count the dimples on her ass.
fucking disgusting.
And then every 30 seconds or so, she would turn around to make sure I wasn't looking. I'm like, everyone is looking. And that is the reason you wore those things.
correct.
Stop lying to yourself and everybody else.
But here's another thing I've noticed
Gosh.
since I went red pill. I literally don't listen to music anymore because it's all a fucking lie.
Yeah, it's all like written for a third grade reading level.
Well, there's that, and then like it's all about like going, I love you, and go through all this stuff. Oh yeah. And then what's gonna 80% chance you're gonna get divorced. You're gonna lose your kids. You become a slave. You're gonna live like fuck that. I can't even listen to me. It ruined it for me.
Once John Mayer got popular, we were fucked.
Oh, that fucking guy.
God, Sympasaurus.
He's a good guitarist, but shit.
He's a Sympasaurus.
Oh, fuck. I remember like this chick that I was seeing who lived in Missouri used to like, oh, John Mayer, I'm going to touch myself. And then she's like, you have to get his album. So she sent me a copy of his album. The first one I'm listening to, like, okay, this is about just graduating high school. I can listen to this one. This one is just fine. And then the rest of it was just like, you could just hear the corporate wheels turning in these money-grubbing cocksockets' heads thinking, well, NSYNC and Backstreet Boys are on their way out. We got to give them somebody else to diddle their bean to. Can you write some songs to make girls diddle their bean, John? Okay. It'll be different because I love them.
Cocksuckers. Bean diddling.
What? It's true,
dude. That is fucking hilarious, man. Wow.
And the worst part of it, I told her that, and she's like, "Well, that's just me." And I was like, "Well, that's just bad music.
Yeah.
Which is worse?"
There you go.
And then I was like, "If you want some funny, some real good music," I was like, "Listen to Tenacious D. Then you can just go fuck off." It's like, this isn't music. I'm like, you're right, it's comedy and it's music. So it actually accomplishes two things that John Mayer can't accomplish.
Nice. Wow.
Granted, he got better over time, but still, like, he's very overrated. He always has been.
Yeah.
He's a corporate product. There you go. Although his Chappelle Show skit where, white people always have to dance to electric guitar, and that he was in that, okay, respect for that.
Hilarious.
Absolute respect for that. Killbox Target, check email for incident report to Evil Pops from this dude here. Dear Rear Admiral Blakey Poo. Guys are such assholes. Never change. We need to do something about security officer Evil Pops of the SS Fear the Syrup. After a bottle of fuck you or fighting, he went around aggravating our guests. Number one, he overheard a male guest saying how he's pansexual ever since. Then he has been yeeting frying pans at him, asking him, is this the one? Is this one your type? How about this one? I would do the same thing. Check your spelling next time. Number two, then he heard a blue-haired woman saying how she is gender fluid, and he told her, just because you treat your saber-toothed crotch cricket crevasse like the front door of Walmart on Black Friday doesn't mean you're gender fluid. It just means that you're full of genital fluids. Hashtag fear the syrup.
Oh, my God.
I like it.
You're not gender fluid. You're just full of genital fluids. I got to remember that one. Number three, then after he heard Sleepy Joe was going to be a guest, we caught him buttering the stairs. We asked him what he was doing. He said, solving one of America's problems. So we gave him a ton of lard and a floor buffer. Fingers crossed. Number four, every time he comes across a group of troons, he keeps singing out loud, Transformers, people in denial. Send me out with a singing
Oh, God.
Pop's second favorite
Yeah. You're really in your element here.
It's not me, motherfucker.
This also plays for El Snows, who asked for a singing pop. Well, there I am.
At least I take a good burn.
We all do. You have to on this show.
Listen, we're all comedians.
If I couldn't take a good burn, I probably would have quit a long time ago because the chat is more merciless than you. Sean St. George, I've always wondered how the 304s got into the whore tree to begin with. I think
hang on. They're not just in the whore tree.
They grow.
They're in the wife tree now.
Ugh.
They're a plague. They've infected the entire grove.
Yeah, we're cross-pollinating thanks to the biatches.
That's right, man.
True story.
He says, I think I figured it out. They climbed it during the dick stacking test, and then a poor soul shakes it, and they fall out of the tree. Makes as much sense as anything. My dog 1991 wants to know if Dave's in the timeout chair. Now, if he was in the timeout chair, he'd be facing the wall with a hole in it and a dick poking through.
No! Crayons, yes. Dicks, no.
All right, fine. A crayon poking through. El Snows wants the singing pop. We just played it. What's the original artist on that video? That would be a question for Billy Von Baum. Billy, if you're in the chat, if you can let him know.
I know they mention it all the time on Gilded.
It's some Russian guy. Video is so bizarre. And I did throw the drinking straw for you. Sean St. George, same here, Dave. Seeing the Bada stats makes torpedo ops something to be fearful of.
Yes.
Just crack it off yourself, man. 5 minutes, you're done.
Oh,
and they got free sites. You don't even got to pay this OnlyFans shit.
You made me think about one of the videos we're going to be watching.
Oh, no, stop it.
It's going to be bad. The Plains Warrior wants to watch the Rain Pop video.
Oh, no. God damn it.
It's a 3-minute long video, but you know what? I think I'm going to save it until we leave YouTube, and that'll be the way to go with it.
All right.
Because I only got 2 more chats here. El Snow says to check out Aaron Clary's book, Curse of the High IQ. Absolutely. Definitely check it out. I own a copy, and we have been promoting the book since it was published.
I believe it's in my library over there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And the Plains Warrior again. Why does Dave look like he's sitting in the police department waiting to be booked?
Dude, you cannot go through life and not get arrested when you're this fucking awesome.
I know, right? Looks like O'Day Sue at the beginning of Old Boy, and the only thing you're missing is a pair of butterfly wings.
Oh! Well played.
Great movie, though.
Yes.
All right, we're going to leave you guys with Rain Pop and then take a break to go over to New Tech. Jimmy Bones, throw the links in the chat, because as soon as this starts playing, I'm probably going to go take a piss. I've been holding it for a while now. I've watched this before.
Today's Monday. I always drive the car on Saturday. Never drive on Monday.
Who is this? Who is this guy?
Pop is your brother.
My brother? I don't have a brother.
Ezekiel connected them, dry bones. Ezekiel connected them, dry bones. Ezekiel connected them, dry bones. Now hear the word of the Lord.
Rain Pop.
Do you know how much the square root of 2,130 is?
46.15192304. 2304.
He's a genius.
Are you autistic?
I don't think so. No. Definitely not. Definitely not wearing my underwear.
What are you talking about? I told you to go to the bathroom and put them
They're in
on.
the pocket of my jacket.
Why aren't you wearing them?
These are too tight.
It's all the same.
They're not boxer shorts. Mine are boxer
It
shorts.
doesn't make a difference.
Hanes
Underwear is
32.
underwear.
Hanes 32. My boxer shorts has my name in
Right, all right.
it. My name
Next
is
door, we'll
Pop.
get you boxer
I get my
shorts.
boxer shorts at Kmart in Detroit.
We're not going back to
Boxer
Detroit.
shorts at
Kmart in
Kmart on
Detroit.
Main Street in Detroit.
Stop it.
Hanes boxer shorts. They have to say Pop on it.
Just stop it.
B2.
82 what, Pop? How much is this?
Dick straws. For 46 total.
Change. How many dick straws in there?
What's that?
250.
Pretty close. Come on.
246.
There's 4 left in the box.
That man right there is my brother. If he doesn't get in there to use the bathroom in 30 seconds, he is going to take a shit all over this porch. You can help me or you can stand there and watch it happen. That porch slipped right out.
Here's the 3.
You watching that?
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy how they have our voices.
You
down.
seeing that
It's
pop? You
real.
catching that?
They're falling on all the ground.
Okay, now what? What do I have left?
2 jacks, 1 8, 1 king, 1 6. 2 aces, 1 10, 1 9, 5.
1-5. 52 pickup bitches. I think we can pull
What
it pretty
hit?
soon.
So you have 18.
We can do that.
You don't want to hit. He doesn't want to hit. You took my queen pop. I got a 10. I needed that queen. I can't take your queen.
Sir, please don't touch the card.
There's lots of queens.
I'm going to double down. Queens.
Queen. Queen.
Yes, sir. You got to love this town.
Been a trip, huh?
Yeah.
Huh. And what happened?
I pooped my pants.
And how'd that make you feel when you pooped your pants, Pop?
It felt wet.
Wet.
I like having you for my brother.
I'm a good driver.
All right.
That's good.
If you guys have not yet subscribed to Billy Von Bomb, youtube.com/@BillyVonBomb, or you can go to BillyVonBomb.com and subscribe to his channels on Rumble, Odyssey, etc.
First of all, that whole thing is just creepy as hell.
But hilarious.
Yes.
Pretty funny.
All right. That's a good way to go out, at least on YouTube, where 420 people are still watching. Let's do a quick roll call on the other sites here. 1,050 on Rumble.
Nice.
All right.
Kicking
Hell
YouTube's ass up and down the block, because that's
Nice.
how it rolls. Odyssey is rocking 36. MGTOW's rocking 48. DLive has 10, and Twitch has 14. Out freaking standing. All right, guys, go empty your squirrel bladders, refill your menageries. We've got some funny videos and more super chats coming your way. Enjoy the tunes, and we'll see you in 5.
All right.